There are two strategies for factoring quadratic equations when a is greater than 1. Check them out below. Okay, so the first strategy is called slide and divide. And when a is bigger than 1, so basically when this value right here that I'm pointing to is greater than 1, we must use a different method to factor quadratics. Check out the slide and divide method below. Okay, so let's look at example 1. Over here on the left-hand side, we have 6x squared minus x minus 2. The first step is we want to multiply our a and our c values, okay? So following the purple, we're going to multiply 6 times negative 2, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to write x squared minus x, and we're going to put what 6 times negative 2 is for our c, okay? So that would be negative 12. That's our first step. Step 2 is we're going to do the diamond method, okay? So draw our little x. Remember on top, we're going to put the c value, so negative 12. On the bottom, we're going to put our b value, which is right here. Remember, when there's no number in front, we're going to put a 1 there, so it's a negative 1, and that goes down here. And now we need two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to negative 1. So we think about it for a little bit, and it's going to be negative 4 and 3. Okay? So writing it in factor form, it's going to look like this. X minus 4, x plus 3. Alright, so now step 3. This is the final step. It says divide both values by a. Reduce if necessary. Slide when division gives a decimal. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what all this means right now. We're going to rewrite our factored form here with x minus 4, x plus 3. And now I'm going to bring down this a value from the beginning, which is 6. And we need to divide both of these by 6. Okay? Now, this is where reducing if necessary comes in handy, okay? Reduce if necessary. These fractions are not reduced to their simplest form, okay? So we need to do that next. So we're going to reduce by division, okay? So 4 and 6, we can divide both of those by 2. So we're going to go ahead and do that. X minus 2 over 3. And same with 3 over 6. This is not reduced all the way. I'm going to divide both by 3. And we get x plus 1/2. Okay? We're almost done here. Now we have to slide when division gives a decimal. Okay? So if we look at 2 divided by 3, that's going to give us a decimal. We need to slide this 3 up. Okay? And we get 3x minus 2. And in the same way, when we look at 1/2, that gives us a decimal. So we want to slide the 2 up, and we get 2x plus 1. And then we are done. Let's look at one more example up here, example number 2. So, again, our first step is to multiply the a and the c. So we're going to take 8 times 3, and we get x squared plus 10x plus 24. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and do our diamond. So 24 goes on top, 10 goes on the bottom. We find out that the 2 that we're going to get is going to be 6 and 4. Okay. Then we're going to draw our factored form here. X plus 6, x plus 4. And now we have to divide by our a value, which is 8. Okay? So we're going to divide both of these by 8, divided by 8, divided by 8. Remember, we need to reduce these fractions. So we get, we're going to divide both these by 2, and we get 3 over 4. 4/8 just reduces to 1/2, right? 1/2. And now, these are just going to give us decimals, so we actually need to slide both of these, okay? And we get 4x plus 3 and 2x plus 1. And then we are done. Just a little side note, because we didn't really do an example problem that looks like this, but let's say we get to the slide divide step, and it looks something like this: x minus 6, x plus 8, and we're dividing them both by 2, okay? So in this case, we don't even have to worry, A, about reducing, or B, about decimals. We don't even have to slide, because 6 divided by 2 is just 3, right? And 8 divided by 2 is just 4, okay? So that is what you would write your final step as.